Well, welcome everybody. My name's Dave Jenks. I'm honored to be here. I really appreciate that Jonathan did the work of getting me here, and the Market Center was supportive of my joining the team and being with you today. This is a great session. It's called Why List With Me, and I think you will. I know we're in a crazy market right now, and so getting listings is a big deal. Getting them priced right and sold is right. And of course, dealing with multiple offers and all of that is a big challenge. But what I'm going to talk about today is a set of skills that operate in any market. So it's important to understand that every market we have is unique. That's the nature of the game. What we wrote in the book Shift really showed that markets go up and down. We go from sellers markets to buyers markets. Right now, we're just scrambling to try and get listings. We wish we could get our buyers into homes, but you know what? In 6 months, it might be totally flipped, that it might be hard to sell listings, that getting buyers to make offers will be a challenge. So here's the thing in this game we play, this wonderful real estate game we play. It's challenging. Every market is challenging. People would come to Gary Keller and me and they would say, well, it's not rocket science. And we'd go, oh, yes, it is. Done at the highest level, real estate is rocket science. It's brain surgery. The knowledge it requires, the skills that you have to have and develop, the disciplines you need to put in place, they are challenging, and it's a competitive business. So let's talk with this. This is a set of skills right here that I learned early in my career. And it allowed me to become a director of training for Century 21 in upstate New York, a regional director for them, then a divisional president of Century 21 in Dallas, Texas for 7 states. And I watched this little company growing in Austin, Texas. And I said to myself, if I were inventing a real estate company, it wouldn't be like this world leading corporate brand driven model like Century 21. It would be like this company Gary Keller's building down in Austin, Texas, very agent focused, very training oriented, and a great economic model that lets agents keep most of the money and still has profit sharing. Amazing, amazing. So wasn't it neat? 4 years later, I got a call from Mo Anderson and she said, Dave, Gary and I would like you on our team. And we got a chance to join them and of course, build the company. We only had 2,000 agents at the time. When I left my full-time employment, 12 years later, we had 72,000, and now we have 172,000. So an amazing history. What I want to do with you is share with you today some things that are a part of that some wisdom I gained that I really want to share with you. First, I want to help you become a powerful listing agent, because that is the name of the game. We say in MREA, it's leads, listings, and leverage. Listings is where you get your credibility, right? Mike Ferry once taught me, he said, Dave, real estate is easy. Just list a home, tell the world you listed it, sell the home, tell the world you sold it, go list another home. So powerful 5-step process all around listings. And by the way, I know that's true. A top agent that I knew in Northern Indiana who was number 1 in her MLS for over 10 years, she said, Dave, yeah. I said, when I asked her what was your number 1 marketing tool, she said, just listed, just sold cards. She said, I would list a home. I would send out 200 to 300 just listed cards saying the following people have retained me to handle the sale of their home. And if you know someone that wants to move to this area, let me know. So it was a call for buyers. Then she said it would sell, and I would send out 200 or 300 just sold cards, and on it, and write this down. She would put, the sale of any other home impacts the value of yours. If you want to know the value of your home or need to sell it, call me today, right? The impact of the sale of any other home impacts the value of yours. If you would like to know the value of your home or need to sell it, call me today. So that whole just listed, just sold card. So I want to help you today to become a powerful listing agent. Number 2 is I want you to be able to articulate your value proposition. Great salespeople know how to articulate their value proposition. I learned this from the Dale Carnegie sales course I took. A friend of mine recommended it to me. I took it, I became an instructor with it. I learned how to articulate value propositions. I did that for Century 21. And then when I joined Keller Williams, I was the road warrior that was articulating the value proposition of Keller Williams. Why join Keller Williams? In fact, it was funny, one of my staff members from Century 21, her father worked for Remax, and so she went to work for Remax. Her name was Christy, and she sent me an email in 2002 or 2003, and she said, Dave, I just came from a meeting of Remax in Atlanta, and we spent a whole afternoon talking about how to compete with Keller Williams. And they put your picture up on the screen, and they said, this is the wordsmith of Keller Williams. He's the one articulating their values, and you need to hear what he's saying to our agents. So that was funny to be there, but I am an articulator of value propositions. I'm a marketeer and a salesperson, and I'm going to teach you the skills of how to do that today in this next hour and 15 minutes. And then we'll open it up for questions and ahas that you have. So I want you to become the master of the art of influence. I just got awarded from another national company, Master Networks, a business-to-business lead generation company that I helped the owner of it start. And I built their Master Networks University and helped him write his book, 5+1, The Entrepreneur's Formula for Success. And they just voted me as their first ever Person of Influence award. And so I am a person of influence. I realize that. I've been that all the way through my career, and I want to talk to you about how to become a person of influence. And then the fundamental of what we're going to do today is build a great listing presentation. And this is important. I remember going to a big training meeting by Mike Ferry. He got up in front of a room of about 2,000 people, and he said, in real estate, we succeed based on 3 skills: prospecting, presenting, and closing. Which of those 3 do you think is most important? How many think it's prospecting? And, like every hand in the room went up, and he went, because that's what he teaches. And he went, no, it's not. How many think it's closing, that you hang in there and you get them to, sign the agreement? And, maybe half the hands went up, and he went, no, it's presenting. Because until you have mastered your listing presentation, you won't prospect. You won't have the confidence. You won't know your value proposition. You won't know how to answer questions. You just won't go prospect. You won't go ask for business until you master your listing presentation. And of course, if you give a bad listing presentation, you're not going to get the listing. So building your listing presentation is the key to your whole real estate sales game. I promise you it is. And the key to that is really mastering your scripts and dialogues. And a lot of people don't understand the power of scripts and dialogues. Remember this: scripts are the poetry of selling. Scripts are the poetry of selling. It's how to say the things in the most effective way, right? That has the right rhythm and energy and emotional content to get your message across. That's what scripts are. We all enjoy scripts, actually. We binge on Netflix, or we go to movies, and what are we watching? We're just watching actors and actresses repeat scripts. Great screenwriters write scripts, dialogue that is interesting and well worded, right? Because it's powerful emotionally. And these actors and actresses just simply memorize those scripts and deliver them, and we are impacted emotionally by those films. So scripts are a part, we get that. And this is, just remember, scripts are the poetry of selling. We'll talk about some powerful scripts that will help your sales presentation. And then I want to refer you to getting the sense of the power of words and how we say things. I want to refer you to a book by Richard Bayan, B-A-Y-A-N, called Words That Sell. And it's a powerful, powerful book. He is a copywriter, and he takes the 40 or 50 different reasons that someone would work with you, and he writes 30 or 35 different ways to say that benefit. And then he has a whole section on attention getters, how in your marketing to get people's attention with phrases and words, and also then how to talk about yourself. So it's a powerful book. And when you read it, you start to learn the language and the rhythm of really good marketing and communication words. So Words That Sell, Richard Bayan. Because the whole thing I want to do today is increase your confidence. Increase your self-confidence. We play the most competitive sport there is. Real estate, sales is maybe the most competitive entrepreneurial sport there is. There's so many people with real estate licenses, so many people trying to get listings. And we want to be in that top 20% that succeed and the top 10% that do well and the top 5% that excel in the real estate business. And to do it, we have to build our self-confidence. But here's the thing I want you to write down. Competence leads to confidence. It's competence that leads to confidence. Not you can self-talk your way and affirm your way to a little more self-confidence. It's better than negative self-talk or self-criticism, putting yourself down. But competence is what really leads to self-confidence. And I want you to become competent at making a listing presentation, competent at doing the real estate business. And then this will give you control of your career. If you become a great listing agent, you will control the marketplace, you will control your career. Remember this, real estate is still a local business. There's been a lot of feelings that technology companies and new entries into the real estate game are going to control it. But no, real estate is a local business based on three things. Write this down, based on three things: relationships, reputation, and trust. People do business with people they know. People do business with people they respect. People do business with people they trust. People do business with people they have been referred to. So the whole game of real estate is to build relationships where more and more people, when they think of real estate, they think of you. And to build a reputation, which is what listings give you, and you get referrals. So all of that, this gives you control over your career. So here we go. This is a great session. Now, we're going to deal with three things: competence, communication, and presentation. Competence, communication, and presentation. Those are the big three. So remember, to do this business and be good at it, you have to be competent at why people list with you. Why do they list with you? Because you have knowledge, skills, and attitudes. In Dale Carnegie, we used to call that the ask triangle: attitude, skills, and knowledge. There's knowledge we get paid for. Someone has said, to us, it's not, they say it's not rocket science. And we go, oh, yes, it is. Done at the highest level, real estate is rocket science, because the knowledge it requires is extensive. The skills it requires are hard to acquire. And the attitudes it takes are unusual. So we need to know contracts, finance, and property evaluation. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I am a master of real estate contracts. By the time we get to the end of this transaction, there will be 75 or 85 pages of legal documents that I will review and make sure they're filled out accurately. There's no mistakes. No one's trying to take advantage of you. And you can be confident in signing those and heading to closing, because I am a master of real estate contracts. So you want to be able to assert that. That is powerful. And I had a woman about 2 months ago, after she heard this, she said, Dave, I am so glad you emphasized this, because she said, I know the technical side of this business. I know contracts and financing and property evaluation. But when I went out on a listing presentation, I thought everybody had that. That didn't matter. And I had to tell them how many sales I did and testimonials. She said, no, I realize now I just have to reiterate to them how good I am at the basics. So new contracts. Number two, top agents say that new agents delegate too much financing to their mortgage officer. Yes, we delegate pre-approvals and we delegate applications and underwriting, but not the knowledge. We need the knowledge both to help buyers and to help sellers in evaluating offers. And then finally, the knowledge area, we are masters of property evaluation. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, one of the things you'll find about me is that I am a master of property evaluation. I'm not a licensed appraiser, but I am actually better than they are at predicting what homes will sell for. And more important than that, I know how to make your home more saleable and worth more, how to get you the highest possible price, because I am a master of property evaluation. So you want to be able to say that. So you need to go become a master of CMAs and property evaluation and know how to do that. That's part of the competence of this business. Then we have the skills of communication, presentation, and negotiation. We're going to focus on that. We're going to focus on what it is to be a great communicator, how to make great presentations, and of course, how to negotiate sales. And then there's attitudes, and this is so important. We began all of our great books, all of our best-selling books, MREA, the best-selling book in the history of real estate, 1.4 million copies sold, and still #1 on Amazon.com today. And And we start them all with how they think. And so I think there's three attitudes of a great listing agent. One is intention, two is assertiveness, three is commitment. Intention means we get things done. We set goals, we meet those goals, we have accountability, we stay on track. We are a person who gets things done. So we say, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, by the way, one of the reasons to list with me is that I am a person of intention. I make good things happen. I set goals, I achieve them. I have weekly activities, and I follow them. When I take on your listing, I will get it sold at the highest possible price because I am a person of intention. See, powerful, powerful. Assertiveness. Number two, see, I've had to learn early in my career to become more assertive. It's interesting. I was a district manager in Syracuse, New York, and I wanted to become the regional director. I was making about $18,000 a year, and I wanted to become the regional director and make $150,000 plus. And I realized once I'd written that goal that I needed to become more assertive. I needed to be bolder and more willing to express myself, not aggressive, not controlling, but assertive, speak up, take charge, take the risks of doing that. And so I found this thing called the Assertiveness Bill of Rights. And I'll tell you how to get a copy of it. It's a one-page document, the Assertiveness Bill of Rights, and I put that above my desk, and I started to become more assertive. See, I was caring too much about what other people thought about me, and I was playing it too soft and cozy and trying to get other people's recognition instead of being honest and authentic in myself and standing up and asking for what I wanted, which is the key. So I became more assertive. And here's an interesting thing. So I set that goal, and the gentleman who had been the regional director when I was district manager was promoted to California, Century 21, to become executive vice president of the company. His replacement, George, his name was Marv. His replacement, George, was there for 3 years and then was promoted to be regional director in Atlanta. And they allowed me to apply for the job, and I was one of several candidates. I went to California. I met with Marv. I'm sitting across the desk from him. And I can tell he set me up to let me down. He's going, Dave, I'm so great that you've earned the right to be here, be interviewed. We've got so much leadership talent in Century 21. And then I knew he was going to say, so maybe in the future, but not now. And I went, Marv, let me just stop you right now. I want you to know that the man sitting across the desk from you today is not the same man you left 3 years ago. I am more assertive, I'm more take charge, and I know what that region needs, and I will make it rock. And he kind of stepped back and went, really? Well, what would you do? And I had my list ready, and I told him the 10 things I would do to make that region better, and I got the job. Why did I get the job? Because I had learned to be more assertive, to ask for what I want and assert myself. That's true for all of you. I think everyone in real estate can be more assertive, not more aggressive. That's kind of controlling and manipulative. No, assertive. And you can say, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, you're going to find me as an assertive person. I'm not manipulative and I'm not aggressive. I don't alienate people. I get along very well with them, but I'm going to stand up and make sure that we get what you want. Make sure I'm going to negotiate on your behalf. I'm going to make sure no one takes advantage of us because I'm an assertive person. See, you want to be able to say that. That's a powerful thing. And then the final one is be a person of commitment. That means that you do what you say you're going to do. I had one of the pioneers in Keller Williams, Tom Caldwell, who was the president of Van Schok Realty, a big independent company in Denver. And he went to a meeting of real estate leaders in Florida, and he heard Gary Keller speak, and he came home to his wife and said, that's the future of real estate. And he resigned his job. His cushy job as president of Van Schok went down, signed up to be the regional owner of Keller Williams of Colorado, came back up, built the company right in RE/MAX's backyard. After a few years, sold it for a couple $1 million, and now he and his wife, Gwen, travel the world. He's a real history buff. But he was a pioneer, and he said something I'll never forget. He said, Dave, success is about doing what you say you'll do. Simple. Success is about doing what you say you'll do. He said, so many people make promises, tell people what they want to hear, and then don't follow through. He said, you want to do what you say you do. He said, I keep a commitment list, not just a to-do list, but a commitment list. Anytime I tell somebody I'm going to get back to them or get something to them or call them for an appointment, he said, I put that on my commitment list. And then I have my to-do list, but I always complete my commitment list before I do my to-do list. I thought that was a powerful thing. So, and you would say, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I am a person of commitment. If I say I'm going to do something, you can take it to the bank. Promises made, promises kept. You can trust me because I am a person of commitment, right? You want to talk like that emotionally to people. People want to know you, they want to like you, and they want to respect you. So there's competence. Now let's move to communication. I also learned this at the Dale Carnegie Institute. Dale Carnegie's book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. It's in the top 200 of Amazon.com this year, last year, every recent year in the top 200 books of the tens of thousands of titles that Amazon sells. It's in the top 200 every year. And it was written 75 years ago. Why is it there? Because it's built on timeless truth. Same thing with MREA, the Millionaire Real Estate Agent. It's the #1 best-selling book on Amazon in real estate on Amazon, and it's #1 in the real estate category on Amazon. And it was written 17 years ago. Why is it #1? Because it's built on timeless truths. And I would just say to you, one of the things you want to do in your career, in your life, is build them on timeless truths. Go find the sources of timeless truth and build your life and your career on those. So communication. Here's what Dale Carnegie says about communication. First of all, he said there's the big three. Don't criticize, condemn, or complain. He said the minute you go there into that negative space, you drop down your relationship skills. And if you do it with and around other people, they don't like it and respect it, even though they may be doing it. Even though they may be doing it, you may be joining them. He said, don't criticize, condemn, or complain. Stay positive, optimistic, and appreciative. Number 2 is give honest, sincere appreciation. The most powerful script in the world may be, thank you. I really appreciate that. See, that's powerful language. Give honest, sincere appreciation. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, thank you for opening your home and letting me come here to earn the right to handle the sale of your home. I truly appreciate this opportunity. Thank you. See, give honest, sincere appreciation. And then 4th, focus on what other people want. Zig Ziglar said, you will get what you want in direct proportion to the number of people who you help get what they want. Getting what you want comes from helping others get what they want. So focus on your service, focus on what others want, focus on helping them get that and provide that. That becomes your value proposition. So those are the big 3. Don't criticize, condemn, or complain. Give honest, sincere appreciation and focus on what others want. And then here are the supportive 6. And if you master these, you will be a great communicator. Number 1 is be genuinely interested in other people. Let your curiosity drive you. Ask them lots of questions, listen carefully, get to know them. Really be a person like Gary Gentry said, I can get to know more about a person in half an hour than anyone else I know because I ask great questions. I listen carefully, I probe, they trust me. So become genuinely interested in other people. Number 2, smile. I know in this age of face masks and all that, our nonverbal communication we've struggled with a little bit, but let your positive energy come through your eyes and your face and your being. Smile, right? And then remember people's names. It's the most pleasant sound that they hear is their name. It's what connects you to them. And don't say to me, Dave, I'm no good at remembering names. Dave, I've never been good at remembering names. Dave, I've always struggled at remembering names. I just can't remember names. And don't say that. Why would you give yourself that self-talk? You could say, I'm working at remembering names. I'm getting better at remembering names. Here's the key. Everyone struggles with remembering names. You know why? It's 2 different parts of the brain. The part of the brain that causes emotional connection with somebody is on the right side of your brain. Your sense, you get your sense of them, you know them, you feel connected to them. That's a right brain. On the left brain are all the labels, their names and where they came from and where they went to school and their kids' names and pets' names. And all those labels are on the left side. And you have to work to connect the 2. So how do we remember people's names? First, we capture them. We write them down. Anytime we meet somebody new, we write down their name. We ask them how to spell it and how they want to be addressed. If their name is Elizabeth, do they like Elizabeth or Beth or Liz, Dave, David? What do they like? We know that, but we write it down. And if we go into an appointment, we write it down. And if we forget to do that, we say, oh, by the way, I had a little mental glitch. Remind me, what was your name? Mary. Okay, Mary, thank you. Write it down. And then second of all, repeat it. Dave, thank you for giving me the chance to earn the right to list your home. Here's what I'm going to do, Dave. I'm going to ask you a series of questions so I can get a clear idea, Dave, of what you're trying to accomplish and how I can get that done. How's that sound, Dave? Yeah. Okay. See, I've used the name 4 or 5 times. And you say, well, that sounds like overusing it. And you go, no, not in their ear. Their ear will not do that. And the other thing is the repetition allows you to remember it. Remember, repetition is the mother of memory. Repetition is the mother of mastery. Repetition is the mother of skill. Repeating it does it. And then encourage others to talk about themselves in this whole time before you get to your listing presentation. It's about them. It's about rapport building. It's about asking them questions. It's them talking about themselves, not you talking about your real estate career, your history, your family, anything. No, unless they really pointedly ask, but no, it's getting it back to them. Encourage others to talk about themselves. That's the whole phase of going in to their home when you're doing a tour of the home and all that initial stuff before you get down to the presentation. The presentation, we're going to get to it, is only about a 15, 20-minute proposition. And that's when you present yourself and your value proposition to them. But up to that, it's all about them. Encourage them to do the talking and talk about their interests, not yours. Some people have this misunderstanding that if we share a common interest, that we will bond. Like if I'm talking to somebody, I say, so what do you like to do? Well, we like to play golf. Oh, you like to play golf? Oh, me too. I'm a golf addict. I'm a 5.2 handicap. What's yours? Yeah. And I'm a member of Oak Hill Country Club. Are you a member of a club? And what great courses have you gotten a chance to play? I've gotten a chance to play Muirfield Village, Jack Nicklaus's course. Can you imagine that? What have I done? I've taken the whole discussion away from them. Now I'm focused on me. Don't do the me too thing, right? Talk about their interests, not me too, not your interests. Don't try and out-talk them or somehow think you're bonding with them with me too. If you have a common interest, use it to ask great questions. Like say you love movies and you say, oh, by the way, what do you like for recreation? Oh, we like to go to movies. You do? That's wonderful. What kind of movies do you like particularly? Yeah. Are there any actors or actresses that you're fans of? Yeah. What about directors? Are there directors you follow? Oh, okay. Great. Are there any movies you'd recommend that you've seen recently that I should go see? Oh, great. I love movies too. See, that's it. You've bonded. You've let your knowledge of something ask questions so they talk about their interests, not yours. No, me too. And the final one is make others feel important. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to earn the right to handle the sale of your home. I know that you're the boss. And what I need to do is make sure that I get you what you want. And during this whole transaction, I will give you the latest information and the greatest advice. But in the end, I will do what you want because you're the boss. So you want to get that clear, make others feel important. And of course, if they have a job, they've either built a company or they're in charge of a company or they're a community leader, recognize that. And if they've been in the military, thank you for your service. Make them feel important. So there's the supportive 6, right? Be genuinely interested in others. Let your curiosity drive that. Smile, let your natural positive energy come through physically. Remember people's names, write it down, do the repetition to get that there, get good, get better at it. Encourage others to talk about themselves, talk about their interests, not yours, no me toos. And then finally, make others feel important, okay? So now we want to move, so we've done competence and communication, and now we want to start talking about presentation. And the heart of it is memorizing scripts and dialogues. Gary Keller said, agents have lived before us, agents have succeeded before us, agents have learned how to say things effectively, and they've passed those on to us in the form of scripts and dialogues. What you have to do is memorize them, internalize them, customize them, and capitalize them. Linda McKissick is she's your regional owner up in that part of the world. And she has she taught me a very powerful thing. She said, Dave, I was kind of a country girl. And she said, I sort of told it like it was. And I realized I was boring. And so I had to learn how to say things well. And I started hearing other agents saying things well. And I mastered those scripts and dialogues, and it launched my whole career. It took me from failing out of real estate up to the 7th level, where I had a team doing 350 transactions a year. I had 4 admins, 5 buyer specialists, 2 listing specialists, and a manager. I wasn't even managing it. I was its owner. And she said, I went all that way by mastering my scripts and dialogues. She wrote a wonderful book called Presentation Mastery, which is a wonderful book, because she said everything in life is a presentation and you must master it. So master your scripts and dialogues, and here's the process you follow. First you memorize, then you internalize, then you customize, then you capitalize. But the first step is memorize. And that's a skill that in our educational system, we have reduced the amount of work people do at mastering their memory. And now with smartphones and Google and all that, we can look things up. We don't tend to remember things well. So that's a muscle you need to develop yourself. Mastering, to be able to say, Zig Ziglar says, you will get what you want in direct proportion to the number of other people who help get what they want. Or Earl Nightingale says, success is the progressive realization of personal, predetermined, worthwhile goals. It's really good to memorize quotes and scripts that you can then share with others. I think also even memorizing poems is good. I know as we started a year ago, getting into COVID, I was reminded of Rudyard Kipling's great poem, If you can keep your head while all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you. If you can trust yourself while others doubt you, but make allowance for their doubting too. If you can wait and not be tired by waiting, or being lied about, not deal in lies, or being hated, not give way to hating, and yet not act too good or talk too wise. If you can dream and not make dreams your master. If you can think and not make thoughts your aim. If you can meet with triumph and disaster and treat those 2 imposters just the same. And it goes on for a couple more verses, and it finishes with, if you can fill the unforgiving minute with 60 seconds worth of distance run, then yours is the world and anything that's in it. And more than that, life's battle you'll have won. Wonderful poem, wonderful poem. And my brothers and I have a family reunion every year, and in it we do scripts, or we do skits and presentations, and we memorize poems for that. It's a fun activity to do. So, but you want to master your scripts and dialogues. You internalize them, then you customize them, right? Just like great actors and actresses, you work on your scripts and dialogues. Now, let's dive into the listing presentation itself. There's several parts of it. First, you want to set the stage, get their attention, get their positive focus on you. Then you want to make the presentation effectively and highlight the key benefits of working with you and your company and how you get the results you do. Then you want to work at getting proper pricing and staging. And then you want to explain the commission if you need to, right? So we're going to dive into that. The listing presentation process. And the first thing we're going to do is set the stage. So there's a number of scripts I've learned over the years. This one is from Mike Ferry, for is a great way to set the stage, right? So this is called the 1-minute listing presentation. It goes like this. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I've written down 3 very important questions. May I ask them? First, do you absolutely have to sell your home? Okay. 2, are you willing to price it to sell? All right. And 3, would you like me to handle the sale for you? Okay, good. See, and the reason it's called the 1-minute listing presentation is, listen to this. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I've written down 3 very important questions. May I ask them? First, do you absolutely have to sell your home? Oh yeah, Dave, we got to be out of here in 6 or 8 weeks. We got to get it sold. Great. Are you willing to price it to sell? Well, we want to get the most we can, but yeah, we'll price it whatever you say we have to do. Wonderful. And 3, would you like me to handle the sale for you? Oh yeah, you come so highly recommended from our friends. Yeah, we definitely want to list with you. Great. Let's get started. See, I've got the listing. 1 minute, less than a minute. 3 questions, 3 yeses. I've got the listing. I don't have to say, oh, I guess you want to list with me. I just take the listing agreement out and say, okay, let's fill this in. Here's here. And by the way, let's look at the market information, be able to put an initial listing price on the property. Let's look at some ideas for staging. I mean, I start to do the work. I go right into it. I assume I've got the listing. I've got it. Of course, I got 3 yeses. no need for a presentation of any kind. If you make a presentation, you'll probably talk your way past the sale, but you'll certainly waste their time and yours. So this is it. Well, Dave, yeah, but what if you don't get 3 yeses? Okay, let's take a look at one. So Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I've written down 3 very important questions. May I ask them? First, do you absolutely have to sell your home? Well, no, we love it here. We love this home. We just thought we'd put it on the market and see what we might be able to get for it. Okay, great. Are you willing to price it to sell? Well, we need to get at least 900,000 for it. At least 900,000. Okay, all right. And would you like me to handle the sale for you? Well, we're interviewing 2 other agents too. Okay, great. Now notice, I didn't engage them. I just thanked them for the answer to each one, but their answers gave me 3 important pieces of information: motivation, education, and commitment. Motivation, education, and commitment. The first one is, are they motivated? See, the answer I got, that they love it and they just thought they'd put it on the market. I'm not going to take a listing just to put it on the market, see what it would get. Now, they may actually have more motive than that, and I would probe it. So I'm not going to just accept it. But if that's really all, if they're not motivated, I'm not going to take the listing. And then they say they need 900,000, and I know that I'm going to be lucky to get them 780, 790 for the property. But I'm not going to argue that here. I just know I'm going to have ultimately a time of an education for them to know what their home will sell for. So that's education. So motivation, education. And the final one is they're committed to me. And if they say they're interviewing 2 other agents, I say, okay, great. And then I know that I need to get such a sense of urgency and willingness to list with me right now that I would say, okay, and by the way, I'll call those 2 other agents and let them know they can bring their buyers to your home, but we've got the listing handled, okay? Would you like me to do that? Yeah, I'd be happy to do that, right? You take on that responsibility for them. So this is it. Just understand these 3 questions give you all the information you need right at the beginning, right? And it's very professional. And you say, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I've written down 3 important questions. That gives it a sense of immediacy. May I ask them? Okay, 1, do you absolutely have to sell your home? Great. Are you willing to price it to sell? Okay. And would you like me, notice how you shake your head, yes, would you like me to handle the sale for you, right? 1-minute listing presentation, powerful, powerful. Now, another thing about setting the stage is getting their attention, because they may not be sure what's going to happen. They may be thinking about their shopping list or homeschooling or, something going on at work. So you need to get their attention. And this one is meant to get their attention. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, at the end of our meeting, one of 3 things will happen. 1, you will decide to have me handle the sale for you. Or 2, you'll decide not to list with me. Or 3, I will decide not to take your listing. Now, any of those 3 is okay with me. Does that make sense? Whoa. See, right away, you've put it clear that there's going to be a decision made tonight. There's no thinking about it. There's no, we'll get back to you. No. Decision's going to be made tonight, one of 3 things. And then you might not take the listing. They might say, well, Dave, why wouldn't you take our listing? Because my job is to not only meet your expectations, but exceed them. And so if I were to think that I couldn't meet your expectations or couldn't handle things the way you want, then I'm not going to bother you or me, and we'll part friends and move on and not lock you into the listing. Oh, okay. Well, we really want to work with you. Okay, good. Well, then we'll do that. See, so your willingness to walk gives you power. Now, the other thing is you want to shorten your presentation down to maybe 15, 20 minutes, right? It doesn't need to be longer than that. Now, the work with them will take longer, deciding on a pricing strategy, deciding on a marketing strategy, filling out the documents, taking photos or whatever. The work will take more, but not the presentation. And understand that you build rapport, you make a presentation, you get an answer, you get the listing, and then you do the work, right? And so this is a tight thing at the beginning. And so that's another thing to do when you set up the expectation. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, at the end of our meeting, which by the way is only going to take another 15 or 20 minutes, one of 3 things will happen. 1, you will decide to have me handle the sale for you. Notice how I shake my head positive. Or you'll decide not to list with me. Like, why would you do that, right? You'll decide not to list with me. Or 3, I will decide not to take your listing. See, it's like you get very authoritative. Any of those 3 is okay with me. Does that make sense? Okay, yeah, okay. See, you're in control. You're in control. Now, there's another one for the setting. You don't have to use all three of these. You can use them as you wish. It's called the safe island. I learned this from Floyd Wickman. He said, when you tell people what's going to happen next, it relieves them because they know what's going to happen, right? That's why we call it the safe island. They feel now safe. This presentation isn't going to go on all evening, and it's organized. And so we use a method called stacking. Stacking is a memory technique. We used it in Dale Carnegie. We'd have stacking is where you take an object that you can memorize in your mind, and it stands for a section of a speech or a class or a presentation. This is a kind of a minor version of that. And let's take a look at how it goes, okay? It's called the safe island. And here's the stack. At the bottom of it is the letter B followed by the number 4, B4. On top of that is a stopwatch with 1 minute on it, and we think 1 minute. And then out of the top of the stopwatch comes 4 steps, and we think 4 steps, numbered 1, 2, 3, 4. And then at the top of that is a bunch of question marks all clumped together, we think question marks. On top of that is a shopping cart. We think market basket. We're going to call it a market basket full of numbers, a market basket. On top of the market basket is a jail cell, a window with bars on it, and we think jail cell. And out of the top of the jail cell is a spiral staircase, and we think steps, spiral staircase, steps. So that's the stack. So what's on the bottom? B4, then 1 minute, then 4 steps, then question marks, then market basket, then jail cell, then spiral staircase or steps, all right? So this is how the presentation would go. Mr. Mrs. Seller, before we begin, may I take a minute to tell you how I work? Basically, I use a 4-step process. First, I'm going to ask you a series of questions so I can get a clear idea of what you want to accomplish and how I can help. Then I will give you enough market information for you to make a rational decision about the price to place on your property. Then I'm going to honestly sell you on the benefits of working with me in my company and how we get the results we do. And when you hire me to handle the sale of your home, I will tell you step by step all the things I will do to cause your home to sell. Shall we get started? Good, here we go. Right? So that's a great way to set the stage. It's called Safe Island, and that a stack technique is good. A stacking technique is good if you're making a presentation or teaching a class. Anything where you're presenting, creating a stack of things so that you don't have to refer to any notes is a good thing to do, all right? So here's the fundamental of being a person of influence and selling. I learned this in the Dale Carnegie sales course. It's very simple. It's a 3-word thing. Facts, benefits, feelings. Facts, benefits, feelings. Facts, benefits, feelings. Facts is what I do. Benefits is what they get. Feelings are how it makes them feel. Facts, benefits, feelings. Facts, benefits, feelings. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, here's what I will do. And therefore, this is what you will get. And this will make you feel like this, right? That's influence. Facts, benefits, feelings, facts, benefits, feelings. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, by the way, as I said, there will be 75, 85 pages of legal documents. I will review them all in detail and make sure they're filled out accurately, no mistakes, which means that you will have the confidence of being able to sign those and move to closing with peace of mind and a sense of relaxation. Does that make sense? Great. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, you can call me anytime, but I am going to report to you formally once or twice a week on the progress for the sale of your home. Therefore, you will know exactly where we stand in the sales process and as we move toward closing. And that'll give you that feeling of first being respected and listened to, and also the confidence that we are moving successfully to closing. Does that sound good? Yeah. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I'm a master of the market, so I will give you all of the current market information that is out there that's relevant, which means that you and I will be able to make a rational decision about the pricing strategy for your property so that we will get you the highest price possible. And that will kind of give you that feeling of satisfaction and well-being that you sold it for the most you could. Does that sound good? Yeah, we'll do that. See, facts, benefits, feelings, and really master this idea of feelings that that they will feel more peace of mind, or that they will feel respected and listened to, or that they'll feel confident and secure, or they'll have a feeling of satisfaction and well-being or happiness and joy of working with you. So just remember that this is the heart: facts, benefits, feelings, facts, benefits, feelings. Okay, now we're down to the heart. I want you to listen carefully, because this to me is the heart of an emotional listing presentation. And this will have more impact than any listing of testimonials or sales you've done or any other analytic stuff. Be ready. Are you ready? Mr. and Mrs. Seller, there's really 3 reasons to list with me. 1, you can trust me. 2, I will answer all your questions. And 3, I will protect you all the way through closing. Should we get started? Yeah, let's go. See, that's the listing presentation. That's what they care about. Number 1 thing that sellers care about is they can trust you. Number 2 is that you'll take them seriously and not abandon them and answer their questions. And number 3 is you'll make sure nothing goes wrong, that all of the complexity and the things they're worried about in the transaction will be taken care of by you all the way through the closing. See, it's powerful. This is the emotional presentation. I had a guy just tell me this morning, I'm here in Plano, and I taught this class for a month ago. And he said, Dave, I mastered that presentation. And he said, I went into a presentation last night, and I was the 4th agent in. They had 3 others. And I came in and I said, I'm sure that you've had a detailed presentation from those other 3 agents. Let me just tell you why you should work with me. There's really 3 reasons you should work with me. And he went through these reasons, and they went, oh yeah, we want to list with you. And he got the listing, right? Because he went right to the heart of it. And I'll show you another thing that'll follow up on this. But he said, Dave, they really liked, because he said, I felt they could feel the fact that they could trust me, and that I would take them seriously, and that I would take care of the whole transaction. So now you can expand this, Mr. and Mrs. Seller. There's really 3 reasons to list with me. You can trust me. People I work with tell me they trust me with their children and their bank account. You can trust me. Number 2 is I will answer all your questions. And I'm a professional, so I know what I know and I know what I don't. If I have the answer, I'll give it to you. And if I don't, I will go to this world-class company I'm a part of, and I will get you the right answer. But I will always take you seriously, and I will answer your questions. And 3, I will protect you all the way through closing. As I said, there's going to be 75, 85 pages of legal documents. There'll be lots of other people involved in the transaction. I will make sure that everything's being done right, that no one's trying to take advantage of you, and that we will protect your interest all the way through the closing. Would you like me to do this? Yeah. See, powerful. But you can just keep it simple, Mr. and Mrs. Seller. There's really 3 reasons to list with me. 1, you can trust me. 2, I will answer all your questions. And 3, I will protect you all the way through closing. How's that sound? Should we get started? Yeah. See, assumptive. Okay. Now, they may want a little more detail in this. So there's some magic in the book MREA. On page 95 of MREA is a listing presentation. On 1 page, you could make a photocopy of page 95. You could take it into a listing and you could read it. And it would be better than 95% of all other listing presentations they'll ever get. Why? Because it tells them exactly what you're going to do. And page 151 are the 14 ways that you are going to market the home. So those details are already right there for you to use in MREA. So you would say, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, by the way, there are 10 important things that I do to serve you and get your home sold successfully. How much detail would you like me to share with you? Oh, Dave, don't bother us with the details. We know you'll let us know what we need to know when we need to know it. No, let's just get started. Great. Or, there are 10 important things that I do to serve you and get your home sold successfully. How much detail would you like me to go in? Oh, Dave, would you tell us those 10 things? That would be important. We always wondered what real estate agents did. Would you tell us that? Oh, yeah, absolutely. Let's dive in. Here are the 10 things. First, I'm going to do a thorough needs analysis, ask you a series of questions so I can get a sense of your priorities and plans and how I can make sure I get those done. Number 2 is I'm going to give you enough market information to make an intelligent pricing strategy so we can get the most money for your home. And as part of that, number three, I'm going to recommend some property repairs and improvements and what we call staging, so that your home shows better against all the competition, and that will get us a higher price too. And then I have 14 ways that I cause a home to sell, marketing, and we'll find out which of those would be appropriate to you. So we'll build a whole marketing strategy. And then my job really begins when we get our first offer, because I have to evaluate it, see if we're going to take your home off the market. If there's multiple offers, I need to negotiate those and make sure that they have. And so number 6 is I'm going to negotiate the final contract and make sure the terms are correct and everything is in your interest. And then as a result of that, there may be some repairs that we need to do, and I have vendors that will do that. I will get prices from them. I'd never do anything without your approval. I will get a price. I will oversee and coordinate the repairs. And then, of course, as I said, there's 75, 85 pages of legal documents that I will review and make sure they're filled out accurately. No errors, no one's taken advantage of you, and you can feel confident in signing those. And then we go to closing. And of course, at closing, I'll be there to advise you on any final items or resolve anything that has to be done. And then finally, after closing, I still want to be a realtor for life. And in fact, I'll help you with your move. Oh, by the way, do you have an agent yet where you're buying your new home? Because if you don't, I can get a great one for us. And I will coordinate then with that agent the sale of this home with a purchase of that one. Would you like me to do that? Yeah, I'll be happy to do it. And by the way, the sale of your home creates a tax event, and I will give you all the necessary information for you to take to your CPA or your tax prep person when you file next year's taxes. Okay, good, let's get started. Any questions? Great. Now, by the way, you taking that, what I just took maybe 4 minutes to cover, you are giving them more information about what you will do for them than almost any other agent they're ever going to talk to. It's really strong. Now, let's talk about taking you way up above other agents in their eyes. Number one is being able to talk to them about you being a fiduciary. We believe that a real estate agent is needed by a client to be a fiduciary in a transaction, but unless they're an attorney, they probably don't know what fiduciary means. So we need to find a script to tell them what we mean by that. And so here's one that's really good. And if you use this, it'll set you apart from any other agent. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I just want to remind you, I am licensed by the state of Ohio to represent you in the sale of your home. And I will always place your interest above the interest of any other party, including my own. And I'm committed to get you the highest price in the shortest time with a minimum of inconvenience to you. Does that sound right? Yeah. See, that sets you apart. Now, by the way, yes, everyone else is supposed to say that, but see, you're stating the obvious in emotionally powerful ways. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I am licensed by the state of Ohio, see, go to that authority, not to work with buyers and sellers and be generic, no, to represent you in the sale of your home. Always make it personal. And I will always, now you tell them what that means, I will always place your interests above the interests of any other party, including my own. And then you give them the triple hit. I am committed to get you the highest price in the shortest time with a minimum of inconvenience to you. Powerful script. Now, Linda McKissick taught me this one. She said, Dave, you need to state the obvious in emotionally powerful ways. And I said, well, Linda, what do you mean? She said, well, I say, for example, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, when you hire me to handle the sale of your home, I will immediately tomorrow morning notify all the other realtors in the area that 1, it's on the market, 2, its best features, and 3, why they should bring their qualified buyers to see it. Would you like me to do that? Oh, Linda, yeah, oh, that'd be great. Would you do all that for us? Yeah, thank you. See? Well, you would say, yeah, but that's just like putting it in the MLS. Yeah, right. A mediocre agent said, we'll put it in the MLS and we'll put a sign in the yard and then we'll pray, right? I mean, go professional. That's what Linda's saying. Go professional. Yes, obviously people use the MLS, but we created the MLS. I mean, we real estate agents created the MLS to benefit our sellers, and we need to tell them what that means. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, when you hire me to handle the sale for you, I will immediately, sense of urgency, tomorrow morning notify all the other realtors in the area that 1, it's on the market, 2, its best features, in other words, I'm going to promote it, and 3, why they should bring their qualified buyers to see it. When you work with me, you get qualified buyers. See, powerful. So learn this, fundamental. Now, here's another fundamental I learned from Althea Osborne, #1 agent in Austin, Texas, for many, many years, of all companies, in Keller Williams also. And she said, Dave, I work to help young tech companies. She said, I would find out who these new owners were of these new tech companies in Austin. And I'd go in and I'd say, hi, Jim. I'm Althea Osborne with Keller Williams. By the way, I love this new company you've got started here, and I'd like to volunteer to be on your recruiting team. And they'd go, what do you mean my recruiting team? Well, I know you're trying to get really technologically astute people to move here. And so when you bring them in for an interview, I will give them an area tour, tell them why this is a great place to live, talk to other people that have moved here. And if you decide to hire them, when they come, I'll even help them find a home. Isn't that great? I mean, I'll help them find a home was at the back of the list, but the front is, I want to help you recruit. Well, she did. And they would call her. They'd say, Althea, what do you think of that person? You gave them an area tour. What do you think? What did they have to say about us? Should we hire them? And then when they did hire them, of course, they would buy with her, or when they would sell, they would list with her. And she said, I kept, going to more expensive homes. Now they have $1 million houses, and they all asked me, Althea, where are you going to advertise our home? She said, everyone asked me, where are you going to advertise our home? And here's my answer. So Althea, where are you going to advertise our home? Well, Jim, let me educate you about how real estate really works. Ads don't sell homes, realtors do. And I'm already investing half of my commission as an incentive for the best agents to bring their qualified buyers to your home. And as your agent, I will never waste your money, and I certainly wouldn't waste my own. Isn't that powerful? Well, Dave, she's just talking about co-broking. I know, but I remember when I first got in the real estate business, not every broker co-broked. Some brokers who had the listing, you had to work through them to get no co-broking. And so I just want to be clear that we have agreed as realtors to do co-broking, but we need to take credit for that. And that is how we cause homes to sell. Ads do not cause homes to sell. Ads draw more buyers and sellers to agents, but they don't cause a home to sell. We already do that with the system we have. So that's the answer. So Althea, where are you going to advertise our home? Well, Jim, let me educate you about how real estate really works. Ads don't sell homes, realtors do. And I'm already investing half of my commission as an incentive for the best agents, notice how she's doing positive, the best agents to bring their qualified buyers to your home. And then here's the kicker. As your agent, I will never waste your money. And I certainly wouldn't waste my own. Isn't that great? That's just so good. Now, by the way, all these scripts that I've been covering, this whole presentation, I will send to you. Just send me an email, dave@kw.com, Dave, D-A-V-E, @kw.com. Give me 3 ahas that you got from this presentation, 3 things that stood out for you that were valuable, 3 ahas, 3 insights. And I will send you all of these slides in this presentation. I will send you another document called Dave's Favorite Scripts, which includes a bunch of scripts I haven't covered here. I'll send you the Assertiveness Bill of Rights, and I'll send you the Rudyard Kipling poem, If. Okay, I'll send all that to you, dave@kw.com, and then give me 3 ahas. Now, talking about Keller Williams, see, it's important for them to understand the company in the early days when you guys, and you were in Worthington, one of our early pioneer companies, and Joanne Labuda and Paula Linehan and all the crew that was part of that early startup. We just honor pioneers like you so much. We had to deal with that, and people would say, well, I'd like to list with you, but I've never heard of this company or with this. What is it, Keller? Oh yeah, Keller Williams. Let me tell you about Keller Williams. Keller Williams is the newest, most innovative, fastest growing real estate company in North America, and right here in Ohio. That's why we're with them. See, that was the old days. Now it's a different game. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, let me tell you about Keller Williams. Keller Williams is the largest, most innovative, and highly respected real estate company in the world. And I'm with Keller Williams because at Keller Williams, I'm a partner in the business. I get to share in the profits. I have a say in all the decisions. And more important than that, I am empowered to do whatever it takes to best serve you. Now, see, that's so powerful. That's what, and Keller Williams treats its agents, treats you as partners. And you can share in the profits through profit share, and you can have a say through the ALC in all decisions. And more important than that, within the law and within ethics, you can do whatever you want to best serve your client. You don't need to go check with management, right? So that we'd say that. And I'm with Keller Williams because at Keller Williams, I'm a partner in the business. I get to share in the profits. I have a say in all the decisions. And more important than that, I am empowered to do whatever it takes to best serve you. Learn how to script. Why? Because they care about you, but they care that you have a pride in the company that you're with. And that makes a big difference. And now you got to deal with pricing. And I would just say, it's chapter 7 and 8 of the book Shift. Just master chapter 7 and 8 of the book Shift, which is all about pricing and staging. It's all there, including the scripts and dialogues. I'm going to do a summary of it, but we never argue with the seller about price. Here's how it goes. So Dave, we need to get 900,000. I said, oh, okay. Well, listen, I'll tell you what, my commitment is to get you the highest price possible. Absolutely. That's what we're going to do. So here's the thing that we both have to deal with. The market is going to determine what your home sells for. What today's buyers and the market conditions are going to determine what your home sells for. And remember, there's two kinds of markets out there. There's homes that are on the market. They're overpriced and don't look very good. And they're getting very few showings and no offers. Then there are homes that are in the market. They're priced right and they look good. And they're getting not only offers, they're getting multiple offers. So my job as your agent is not just to list your home and put it on the market. It's to make sure we are in the market, because that will give us the advantage of the window of opportunity. See, when a new listing comes on the market, all of the attention of the market is drawn to that listing. And if we make a bad first impression, we're going to lose all those agents and buyers. If we're overpriced or we have repair issues, they're going to be gone. And getting them back is not going to be easy. We don't want to chase the market. So if we stage it right and price it right, we will get our best offer, maybe multiple offers, in that first 10 days to 2 weeks. So that's our target, to take advantage of that opportunity. And the research says that pricing it right really is the way to do that. So let's take a look at the numbers. See that? You're not going to argue. You're going to let the numbers show and reach a decision together as to what to list it for. And of course, you say, I price ahead of the market. If the market's going up, I price ahead of it. If it's coming down, I price ahead of it. But I'm going to get us the highest price possible for your home. That's always what you say, and that's always your commitment. Now, by the way, you don't give the price ahead of getting the listing. You don't. They say, well, what are you going to list it for? I said, I don't know. We're going to decide that together. If you decide to hire me and I decide to take the listing, then we'll decide that together. That's a professional process. We're going to look at all the market information. I'm smarter than most other agents as to what homes will sell for, and we'll decide on the strategy to get the highest possible price for your home. But that's part of the service I give. I can't do it ahead of time because it's a decision we'll make together. Yeah, but other agents said that they would get us $1 million or $1.2 million, and you go, look, agents can claim anything. They can say what they think home will sell for. They cannot bid. It's not a bidding process. So I would tell you, I would not be involved in a bidding process, because people can say anything and then they'll try and talk you down later. I'm going to tell you the truth right now. And when we make this decision, you will make it, by the way. I'm not going to make the decision for you. I'm going to give you enough information and wisdom to make the right decision, to get the highest possible price, but I'm not going to make that decision for you. No. See, so get clear that pricing is part of the service you provide. Yeah. Okay. Now, hang on a sec. So Dave, would you cut your commission? Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I respect you for asking that question, because I know that you want to get the best value and you have every right to ask that. And you know what? There are days I love this business so much that I probably would do it for free. But I don't think my family would understand that. So let me tell you about the commission. Many people don't understand what happens to the commission. Let me explain. First of all, half of it, about 3%, goes to the company or agent that brings us a qualified buyer. So in a sense, that's not a commission, that's a marketing fee. Of the remaining half of it, 3%, 1/3 of it, 1%, goes to this great world-class company that I'm a part of. Another 1/3 of it goes to 1% goes to cover my business expenses, my technology and my staffing and all of that. And that only leaves 1/3, 1%, to go to me and my family. And you know it would be very wrong for me to cut that. Yes. Now, here's the thing I'm going to say to you. Never apologize for your commission, because the way the industry is set up, whether it's 5, 6%, whatever it is, it has set up to do it in the most efficient way possible. That's just what it costs to sell a home in a way that, with honest agents and good information and all of the things the real estate industry brings to the table. And people who've tried to discount commissions don't last, and they don't give good service. And so what you say to people is, and by the way, I know agents that charge more. They'll say, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, by the way, before we begin, I want you to know I charge 7%. I charge 1% more than the average agent. Locally, average agents maybe charge 5 or 6. I charge 7 because of my experience and my knowledge of the marketplace. I know I will get you that back with a higher price. So are you okay with that? See, never apologize at all. And you'll make your own decisions on negotiating. That's up to you. But understand, they may think that all the commission is going to you. And what this script helps them understand is no, there's only a small portion of the commission that really goes to you for all the work you're doing. So don't apologize for your commission, ever. Help them understand it, though. All right? Good. So let's finish with the most important presentation you are ever going to make. And that's to yourself. It's the power of self-talk. And here's what I want your presentation to be like. I am in a skill-based sales profession. This is not an easy profession. It is like rocket science and brain surgery. It takes a lot of knowledge, skill, and strength and discipline to do. And I'm mastering the skills. I am mastering the skills of presentation, the skills of evaluation, the skills of negotiation. And I practice at them like I'm like a professional athlete. I practice hard, long, and often to really get good at this. And as I do this, I'm increasing my confidence. I'm getting better and better at what I do. I feel stronger and stronger about it. And as I increase my competence, which increases my confidence, other people can feel my positive energy. They can feel it. And they want to do business with me. In fact, they are doing business. They're not only listing with me, and I'm doing just listed, just sold cards, but they're referring sellers to me, and I'm causing those homes to sell. My reputation is growing, and I am doing what Gary Keller says, and that is think big, aim high, and act bold. So for those of you who are with me, again, if you want all those slides, plus my Dave's favorite scripts, which includes a bunch more that aren't here, and if you want the Assertiveness Bill of Rights, and I'll just throw in the Rudyard Kipling poem, just write me, dave@kw.com. Give me 3 ahas from this presentation, 3 things that stood out to you or were valuable to you. And then I will, let's see, I'm just trying to think my timing. Yes, I will within a day, I will get all those back to you. All right. So glad to be here. So now, if anyone has a question, you can chat it in and or open up, unmute yourself and ask. Or if you want to make a comment, I mean, if you want to share an aha or make a comment, please understand too that your office brought me here. So your market center, wonderful, Capital Partners, KW Capital Partners, powerful, one of our original pioneer offices in Ohio. Such respect for what you have accomplished in a great market, Columbus area. in Jack Nicklaus's home territory. Big Jack Nicklaus fan. Have played the course, thanks to Paula. And but your office brought me here. I want you to understand this, and they have recorded this. So you can go back and re-listen to it. I highly recommend. A lot of agents had said to me, you know, I really got so much out of this. I was taking notes so fast that I really went back. And when I listened to it again, and I had in front of me the slides too that you had sent me, it was very powerful for me mastering this. So I would, again, just want to make it clear to you, this is available through your market center. And I would invite you to come back and watch it again. But does anyone have a question or anything they would like me to respond to, or something that I said that you'd like to ask, you know, an extension about?
Dave, can you hear me?
I can. Is that Joanne?
Oh, okay, this is Joanne. Yeah, it is. How are you?
I am doing good. My lady, how are you doing?
Oh, good. And so good to see you. So good to see you.
Well,
and
thank you. And isn't it amazing what's happened to this company since what year was it that we opened up in Worthington?
2002, and there were 17,000 agents total when we joined.
2002. Actually, at the beginning of 2002, there was only 11,000. And then we wrote the book, and at the end of the year, we had 17,000. We started on this amazing growth trend for 4 or 5 years. And now, isn't it amazing, Joanne, #1 in the world, 180,000, 182,000 agents, counting our international. It's pretty astounding, isn't it?
It is. I haven't heard anybody say Keller who since
that's right. They don't say
maybe 2003. And now they say, oh, someone else from Keller, someone else. They think we're all from Keller Williams. So it's amazing. I just want to say, Dave, and I said it in my chat, I've been in this business 34 years, and I've been writing like crazy. And I am going to re-listen and relook at what you said, because it is so, so helpful on a listing appointment, and every agent in our market center should watch this, because whether they're experienced or new.
Thank you, Joanne. One of the things that people get confused about is they think a listing presentation is analytical, but it's emotional, right? So it's not how many sales you've done, how long you've been in the business, how many certifications you have, any testimonials from people. Right. That's all analytic stuff. Nothing wrong with it. Nothing wrong with all that, except that what they're making is an emotional decision. And so what I like to get people back to is touch them and meet them emotionally, and they will want to do business with you. Yeah.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Maybe we'll see you out in the desert.
Well, that's right. Out in the desert. Why in the desert? Where are we going in the desert?
Don't you well, you live in Plano now. I thought you lived in Arizona.
Right now I live in Texas, but you know, you probably were aware and kind of semi kept track of, in 2014, I decided to, as part of my Encore years, to travel the country. So for 3 years, with my Jeep Grand Cherokee, my 2 mountain bikes on the back, and my golf clubs, I just traveled the country and just went everywhere I wanted to go, and stayed at Airbnbs and played golf, 235 different golf courses, and just enjoyed it. And by the way, it was all paid for by Keller Williams Profit Share.
I bet it was.
Isn't that amazing?
Congratulations.
I know. Thank you.
Great. It's great.
But now,
it's great to see you. You made my day.
Well, that's it. And 2 years ago, you know, I reached out back to Gary when he stepped in as CEO and said, hey, you know, you said we needed to reinvent. Welcome to the club. Here you are jumping back in as CEO. If there's anything I can do to help. He said, well, I'd like to have you start, you know, attending our RD meetings. And so I did. And then I did a presentation at Family Reunion a year ago in February when it was in Dallas. And then I was back in the game. And since, Joanne, since a year ago, I've done 220 Zoominars across Keller Williams.
Oh my God.
Like this one. So anyway, this is the second one here. And there's another one coming up with yours, Getting What You Want. That's coming up, I think, in a month. Mm-hmm. And so we'll be back.
Okay, I'm gonna tell more people. It was great. Thank you.
Well, you're welcome. You're welcome. And
Be safe.
yeah, ask people who missed it that, you know, they need to go and get the, you know, and look at the video. And again, once they do
I will.
that, then all they have to do, but they have to watch the video because they have to send me their 3 ahas. So dave@kw.com, 3 ahas, that's the work you have to do, but it's also a good learning thing to do. Gary Keller believes in ahas. And then I will send all those documents I said. But thank you, Joanne. Say hi to Paula if you see her. Tell her I haven't seen her in a long time.
I will.
Okay.
God bless.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dave.
Anyone else? If not, I'm going to say bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for being here. Take care.